Hey, it's Doom here from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, half the team from DungeonsSwag.com, and we're back to work on our witch hovel here. I have utmost confidence that it's dry enough to try to paint. Um, yeah, so this is part 3. I'd like to thank you for coming back or watching this at all. If this is your first episode of the witch hovel, maybe you should stop and go look at parts 1 and 2. What I want to do here is brush out some of this craft paint here, this gray, on the structure. And any spots I didn't get down in the cracks or anything like that, I want to kind of get now. And I just want to make this whole thing gray. And the reason is because gray is a good work down point for corroded wood. If I would have had gray primer, I would have rattle canned it with gray, but I didn't. I only had the black, tan, a light gray, and like clear and white and shit. So I just did what I had. So now I'm going to come back and base coat the whole thing as best I can with this gray. I'm not going to worry about hitting every spot, just like in every other video. This is about making something in a reasonable amount of time, and this has already been a long craft. So we're just going to do the best we can in a short amount of time. If you notice, this is a little different on this side. So I did some burning with a lighter to give it different shapes. And it didn't really work everywhere, but here it like caught on fire and melted through. So, yeah, that's what happened there. That's pretty exciting. It was like a little miniature, like, uh-oh. Then underneath here, oh, that popped right off. I'm going to need to re-glue that on. Let me heat up my gun. That, underneath here, we want to hit it some, but we're not like trying to coat it all perfectly. We're just getting it in there and showing that it's got a gray. Underneath it, I didn't base coat, or I didn't prime underneath it real well because I don't plan on people really seeing that part. And then we want to get these rocks around the base gray. And now the dirt underneath it is like green sprayed with black, and I didn't cover it real well to let some of that green shine through. And then what also I want to do is I want to kind of pull some gray around on there, and because under the witch's cabin, the ground here dies, and so I'm going to get a couple shades of gray and brown and just drag it around under there just to capture the fact that nothing survives this place. This place is corrupt, and dark magic has bled into the world and done permanent damage. So this is that plank that came off. It's just a piece of cardstock like the other ones. And once that gun heats up, we're just going to pluck that back on there. Let's get this. Really, that's pretty sturdy. I don't even think we really need to put that repair back on. We can just kind of leave that. Yeah, I'm going to turn the gun off. Let's not do that. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to get a brown. This is a burnt umber. And I want to get a medium gray. And I want to get a makeup brush. Something like this. Cheapy dollar store kind of deal. This is my +1 sparkling brush of starting to go bad. And I want to make a grayish brown. And I want to wipe a lot of it off. And then I just kind of want to start hitting this thing and lighten it up. And if you can go with the wood texture in your direction, it's probably going to serve you better, I think, in this, instead of going against it for this part. When you want to do your dry brushes and stuff, going against it is probably more beneficial. But for this, I think that the way to go is to definitely just kind of try to follow the wood grain, and then just everywhere else just hit it where you can and give it like this lighter kind of ugly, dilapidated look. Touch around inside and lighten it up some, but it's not a main focus. And we want to do that again. And we're just going to make it a little bit lighter this time with that gray. We're going to wipe even more of it off. Let's hit this with the hot air gun. So this is a blow dryer, also known as the +2 hot air gun of burning. It's loud and obnoxious, my favorite. And we're just going to come and lighten it up again. That piece is like broke off. Nice. Okay, we'll leave it. It's fine. Not the end of the world. Lighten this up again. Make sure we're hitting those logs. Okay. So now we're starting to get a little bit of that going. Let's get a lighter brown. Get that gray. Wasting a lot of paint here. I realize that. I'm sorry. It's the wrong answer, but it's just the answer I have today. Okay. We're going to get rid of a lot of that. Again, we're just following the wood grain a little bit. Best we can. Doesn't have to be perfect. And you want to get the logs with this a little more. You want to try to hit them a little better with it. Not perfect, because you don't want to get it everywhere, but you want to get more on the logs. That's because logs aren't going to turn as gray as planks that have been cut from the inner, softer part of the wood, right? All right, now we're going to get a lighter brown. A lighter gray, I mean. We're going to do this one more time with this lighter color. Let's get another piece of cardboard, set that off to the side. Oh, my spleen. We want to wipe a lot of this off. If you have a rag, you can kind of dab some of that off too. It helps. And then we want to start kind of coming this way with it and just pick up some of the stuff that sticks out. Give it a little bit more interest, and this kind of outlines things. More so on the planks we're worried about that than we are on the logs at this point, this lighter color. We want to make sure we hit that top piece pretty good. Alright, so we're starting to look like we're beat up and old and we're used and things aren't great for us. Our cabin has seen better days. Our witch is living in total misery. Cabin is letting cold air in and things are going bad for her. She's very upset. Alright, let's get one more lighter gray. Let's leave what we have in the brush for now. Now when you're dry brushing with these bigger brushes, getting the whole brush saturated is more difficult than it is to get the middle of the brush saturated and drag it around. Because you're going to have so much paint in a big brush like this that it's hard to get it off. So it's starting to look a little more dilapidated and wholesomely rotten. Dry rotted, not rotted. I guess dry rotted is still rotted, right? Right? Yeah, maybe. All right, now I'm going to come one more time with that. Just kind of lighten it up. Now I'm going to aim more for the top. I'm just going to hit the sides, then kind of hit the top more. There's very little paint on this brush, and it's not making an enormous difference. So I'm going to switch brushes. That brush is just so saturated with different tones of paint that it's just not doing what I need it to. Okay, here we go. Let's hit this with a hairdryer too to make sure that we're not just blending around what we have. And I'm not really going after the logs this time, okay? It's starting to look kind of run down and beat up. Catch a little bit of the inside there. You won't really see that part, but something like that. All right, now let's get serious. We got to get some green. This color is called Old English Ivy. And we're going to just get this. We're going to water it down a little bit. And to water it down, we're just going to get a brush wet. And kind of get what we need in the edge here. And we're just going to come along and hit some of this stuff that's touching the ground with that wet and let it just dry however it dries. Doesn't have to be perfect, just let it dry however it sits. It's very thin right here on the edge where that water was, right? The moisture in the ground from the rot from the witch is letting the wood get mossy and destroyed. And then we kind of get around the edges here maybe a little bit, you know, where the logs are exposed on the edges to show that they're kind of like that, and maybe hit some of the other little just around that region as the moss is growing backwards away from where it originated. And this is just story. This doesn't matter. You don't have to do this. This is just like kind of like what I want to do. You don't have to do stuff like this. So then I want to kind of hit some of these planks to show that moss is growing maybe in the cracks and stuff. And we can use some flock to do the same thing. But I really think that having like a green underneath it kind of helps, personally. I use too much green there, so you got to water it down. Get water and just grab it from the edge here. And then some of this roof's going to be nasty and have some stuff starting to form. Even though this is farther away and the sun hits it more and it's dry, it gets some. Get a little more water on that green. You don't have to water this down. I just think it looks a little better when you just kind of let it seep and drip and kind of go where you want to let it go instead of planning too much. Right here where it's kind of gunked up and the board's messed up, we'll use that moss to decorate that area pretty good. And in here where it's been damaged, like maybe a tree fell on it or a hero shot a catapult at it, we don't know, we weren't there. So now it's got a little more of an organic feel to it, and we're going to take some of this now, we're going to water this down again, and we're going to hit some of these spots on the ground with that wet and just drag it in different spots to make the ground look like the moss and the greenery is still coming back in some spots. It's fighting, nature's fighting it back against the corruption of this witch. Nature wants to prevail. And we can really capture that with like some vines and stuff too. That could be really beneficial on our part. But you know, it's all in what you want to put into it. You could be done right now if you wanted. All right. Simple techniques like that go a long way. I will say that you can put minimum effort in and get a good look, and you can put a tiny bit more effort in and get a much better look, and you can really go all the way and get phenomenal looks. And you have to decide where you are in your crafting journey. I'm not going to repaint those rocks underneath. I'm going to assume the muck of this land has kind of taken over those rocks. But what I am going to do is I'm going to make some... Well, this is too green. Let's get... I have brown. Let's get some shrubbery to represent the death in this area caused by the witch. There's like a yellowish brown. This witch has been doing a number on this place, guys. She's destroyed this poor place. Any semblance of what it used to be has been washed away by her corruption. Push that down and get it in there. Get it saturated. And then kind of set it where you want it to dry at. A little bit of glue goes a long way on this step too, I'll promise you that. Um, and just let that go, let it sit. We could do some vines on here. Let me see what I got. This is just floral Spanish moss. If you buy one bag of this, it likely lasts you forever. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get some of this on the cardboard here where the paint was. And I'm just going to dip this and then find spots where I think it can stick and shove it in there and let it hang down at whatever natural angle it hangs down at. I'm not going overboard. I'm not super interested in this step. It's just something that you can do to kind of make it a little more like nature's making a comeback, but not healthy nature, you know, like destructive nature, like vines and stuff. I'm just wiping a little bit of that super glue on here to get it to bond. And then, if you want to get silly with this, you can. I'm just doing a little bit here and there. But you can go as far with this as you wish. You can accomplish whatever vision you have at this point. My vision is one of being almost done. Okay, so now we have something like that. I said I'm not going to repaint the rocks, but I think what I will do is just touch them with a light gray. Just to kind of differentiate them from the rest of the build. So I'm just hitting them on kind of their high spots with a semi-dry paint. So if you wanted to, even that, like you could get a little bit of water on your brush and get some of that gray you had left. And you could kind of bleach some of this if you wanted to, like that. Just hit a couple spots with that and bleach them out. Maybe something was chewing at it there, you don't know. And then if you wanted this to look burnt, that's an easy thing to do. Like say where this was, actually I burned it with that thing. That's an easy fix. Get a little bit of black. Just a drop. That's way too much. Get your brush really wet. Drag some of that over here. And then touch the edges where it burnt and let it just kind of seep in. We can do that. Where's that other spot where I burned it? Right there. I thought there was somewhere else. Maybe not. But you can just kind of do wherever you want that black. It looks okay. Alright. So basically, for a couple popsicle sticks and an old CD-ROM and some cardboard and some glue, some random Dollar Tree floral stuff, maybe at the very most, if you broke down the actual contribution of each item, we're talking $1, you know, at the very most. You can do stuff. You don't have to be rich. I'm not rich. I mean, I'm not starving, but I'm not rich. And oh, that did not stick well. So we're going to get glue and fix that. Okay. There we go. Let's just bunch that up. Shove that down on there. There we go. That one's sturdy. That one's sturdy. It was just that one. Didn't use enough glue. All right, so that's what we came up with. It actually worked out not having the front and the back. You can use it as a playable surface if you need to now. And it still captures the essence of what this is. You could use this as a bandit hideout or anything you wanted. Something like this might be hard to see in a forest. So maybe when your heroes are coming upon it, turn it into an opportunity for them to make some rolls. Maybe as it's showing between the trees and the rot of the forest, the corruption is evident. They're searching for the center of the corruption to find out what's doing it, or maybe they know what's doing it, but they don't know where it is. Have them do an awareness or a spot or a search or an investigation or whatever appropriate check for the system you're using is. And I think you'll be happy. So I'm going to let this dry naturally. Then I'm going to clear coat it so that it's, a little more resilient, and the paint and stuff's going to be protected from being banged with miniatures and whatnot. Let's just throw a miniature on there and get a look at it. That's about how a miniature looks on there. He's a standard, 5'10" elf or 5'8" elf or something, or a half elf maybe. So that's a good size for what we're trying to accomplish. So there we go, guys. Very easy build. A lot of fun. I had a lot of fun. I hope you do too. This has been Doom from Dungeons and Doom Biscuit, one half of the Dungeon Swag team. If you want to like and subscribe, do that. The +5 cleaver of liking and subscribing is upstairs because I have some shorts I wanted to do. But look in the description, and you'll find a link to our website and to our Discord, and you can get a discount code to save 25% off your first month of minis if you're doing our subscription service. And if you want a free mini, you can go to our website, click on I want a free mini thing in the shopping cart, put it in your shopping cart, go to the Discord. There's a discount code there available. I've hidden it amongst text as a fun little story or a fun little description. And you put that in, and it makes the price of the free mini go to zero, as it should be, because it's free. And then you get a miniature in the mail, and this miniature costs you $0.00 for shipping, $0.00 for the product. There's no hidden fees or anything. It's zero. No bucks. Miniature arrives. Try it out. If we run out of free minis that we're giving away for the month, you might get yours next month. But we're already, starting our way into the month now. It doesn't take long. And it's exciting to open a box and see what you got and to paint it up. And once you guys do get our free minis, or even if you're buying minis, do us a favor. Paint them up, assemble them, put them on the website, put them on the Discord. Let us see what you've done. We are not professional painters. We just love miniatures, right? And we just want to share miniatures with the world. So we need you to step up and paint them beautifully and show us what can be done. We're talking about contests and stuff, but we want to see a presence of people that are regularly doing this before we commit to giving away prizes just because one person might paint. We want people to commit to this, and we've talked about special miniatures that we don't sell, that we own the prints to. We've talked about enormous miniatures like this giant that we gave away. Things like that as prizes. So we want you guys to participate and be part of this. Also, if you've watched this far, once a week or so, I do a live paint on Discord, and we just all, sit and hang out and BS and paint. And sometimes people show up, and sometimes it's not. Like last night, I don't think anybody came except for a couple of my sons showed up. But it's a nice thing to sit and just relax and paint and talk about techniques and things we like about miniatures, things we don't like about paint, or whatever it may be. And also, if there's a couple people, I will run an adventure. I have like a special thing I've designed for this format to run adventures. So I will run adventures while we're doing it if people are interested. And I've been DMing for 32, 33 years. And I'm okay, I have a little bit of experience. I'd like to share some fun with you guys. So have an awesome time. Thanks for watching, and craft on, my dudes.